senatorial seat. I'm coming to you once again to talk to you about the issues that matter most to the voters of the 9th District. We are now officially 7 days away from the election, and this primary election is more important than a lot of people really understand. So I'm coming to you to give you a greater understanding of what this election means to you as a voter, to you as a citizen in the 9th District, and to the state of Ohio as a whole. I am running against 5 other Democratic candidates, 3 of which have previous political experience: Dale Mallory, Catherine Ingram, and Cecil Thomas. However, of the 3 individuals, I believe that none of them have done a significant job in representing the interests of the citizens of Cincinnati or the interests of the citizens of the 9th District thus far, which is what prompted me to join in this race. There was an article which ran in the Cincinnati Enquirer on yesterday, Tuesday, April 29th, regarding the attendance record of Dale Mallory, who is the current representative for the 32nd House, which most of you know is the West End and the Price Hill area. This article highlighted Dale's attendance, or lack thereof, and it very clearly showed that Dale Mallory does not have an active interest in representing the people of the 32nd House District. How can I say that? Because he's only attended 83% of the session meetings which have been held in Columbus. The only way a House representative can be effective for the constituency, for the citizens, is to be present, to speak up, be heard, and make the people's interests known. So Dale responded that he didn't know that it was as bad as it sounded. Well, how do you not know as an elected official that your attendance is vital to what goes on in the district that you represent? Does that sound like someone who should be a senator representing your interests on a state level? Dale Mallory also recently failed to fill his obligation of filing a finance report with the state of Ohio for his campaign finances. And there was a previous article ran which cited that he forgot. Now, Dale Mallory has been a House representative member for the last 8 years. This is not his first rodeo. This is not his first campaign. With the Mallory's history in the political arena, there is absolutely no excuse for Dale Mallory missing a deadline as critical as filing a campaign finance report. In that same article, it talked about the fact that I didn't file a campaign finance report. However, my reasoning for not filing that report is totally opposite of Dale Mallory's. I didn't file a report because I hadn't raised any money. And the reason I hadn't raised any money is because I've been out in the neighborhoods working, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and talking to each of you about the issues that matter most to you. Finding out what things you want out of a state senator, what issues you feel are important, what issues you feel are critical to moving Ohio forward. I don't feel that in a time where people are living off of limited resources, as an elected official, we should be out knocking doors and making phone calls, asking people to go into their pockets for campaign funding. The work is what matters. And as I told the Cincinnati Enquirer that day, I will continue to do the work because the work is what gets things done. You hear a lot of talk about experience and the seats that these individuals have held and the things that they've done in the past. And the bottom line is, if they were doing such a wonderful job, would we have the unemployment rate in Avondale as high as it is? Would we already be at a 50% surge in the crime rate in the city of Cincinnati? If they were doing the jobs that we have elected them to do, would individuals still be living in scarce resources, in situations where poverty is at an all-time high in the state of Ohio, where equality is not equal, where justice is not free, and no one in the state of Ohio is living in the means that they should be living in? Is that fair to say that these individuals have done their jobs over the last 8 and some even 20 years? Cecil Thomas, for one, has talked about his years as a Cincinnati police officer and his years as a Cincinnati council member. Well, one thing that Cecil Thomas did, and we talked about this before, was he helped lead the legislation that led to marijuana being criminalized on a felony basis. How can you feel comfortable doing that when you have systematically locked individuals out of jobs and higher education? How can you feel comfortable giving someone who is that out of touch your vote? We recently had a meeting with the NAACP where they had all of the candidates come and give their take on certain issues. They allowed the audience to take questions and ask the candidates exactly how they felt. Dale Mallory happened to be absent from that meeting as well, and according to his attendance record in Columbus, I shouldn't be surprised that he wasn't present. He's also not been present at many other functions that I've attended. However, Cecil Thomas was asked directly, why did you lead that effort? And what Cecil Thomas did was he told an elaborate story. I won't say whether it was true or whether it was false. I'll just say it was an elaborate story of two Caucasians coming from the state of Kentucky into downtown Cincinnati to purchase marijuana. Cecil told this story that went on to say the young man couldn't find the guy he regularly purchased his marijuana from, and he went on to purchase from someone else. And later that day, the guy that he normally makes his purchases from found him and shot him because he didn't purchase from him. Now, I was raised right here in Bond Hill. I've been in Bond Hill my entire life, and I know a lot of individuals who engage in recreational use of marijuana. Yes, I'll say that. I'm not one of them, but there are plenty who do. I have not yet come across anyone who could say that they have been threatened or shot at because they didn't purchase their marijuana from their normal marijuana supplier. I won't say that Cecil fabricated that story because I don't know that to be true. But what I will say is it was a little far-fetched for me as well as some of the members in that NAACP meeting. Cecil's reasoning was, I'm not going to see another dead body in the streets because of marijuana. Well, that sounds good. And as I said at that meeting, okay, now that we've got the political answer from Cecil, let's hear the truth. Because the truth of the matter is, as a Cincinnati police officer, Cecil Thomas had a policing mentality. He did not have a mentality of rehabilitation or what can we do to advance our youth in the city of Cincinnati. Cecil Thomas is all about hook 'em and book 'em. That's all he cares about, locking people up and doing his police duty. Cecil recently made a statement at an event we were at that says, I've got 1 foot in Ohio and 1 foot somewhere warmer. Cecil is from Birmingham, Alabama. He has no true commitments to the state of Ohio, and at any given moment, he can decide to go back to his hometown, which he is planning to do. He made the statement that said, I just need to find me something to do because the more I hang around the house, the more my wife finds something for me to do. Should we give a man our votes that just wants something to do? Should we give a man our votes that may at some point decide to retreat to his hometown of Alabama? No. Where's his real interest in the families of Ohio? Where's his true commitment to the things that are going on in the state of Ohio? The things that are affecting me, you, our children, our grandchildren. Where is his commitment? Well, if you've got 1 foot in Ohio and 1 foot in Alabama, I can't be so sure that you are committed to advancing the issues that are facing the state of Ohio. Catherine Ingram, she's another issue. Catherine Ingram came to the NAACP meeting and she was, I've got other commitments, I can't stay. Well, as a candidate for the Ohio State Senate, it is your responsibility to answer the questions that the people pose to you. If you have other commitments, you cancel them. Because at the end of the day, the people are what matters. The people who cast the votes, the people who entrust you to make sure that their interests are represented and represented well. You owe them your time and your dedication. So I have nothing to say about Catherine Ingram because she wasn't there, quite frankly, long enough to say anything positive nor negative about what she could do for the state of Ohio as your next state senator. However, I do feel that it is very important that as a candidate, I address the people who I'm asking to vote for me, give you my issues, what I will work to do to advance these issues, the things that I feel are most important to the families in Ohio. Those issues, again, are education, employment, equality, and empowerment in our communities. That's what we need to focus on. How do we advance these issues? We see recently where the Clippers owner, Donald Sterling, has made some racist comments about African Americans and how he feels African Americans should not be with his delicate Latino girlfriend. That tells us we are still living in a time where racism exists. Prejudice is still there. Equality is not equal. It's not about black issues. It's not about white issues. It's about human race issues. Everyone deserves to be regarded and treated on an equal basis, regardless to their ethnic, racial, gender, sexual, any of those orientations do not matter. We are one race. That is the human race. And until we have people who are going to diligently fight for equal rights, we will not advance on that issue. Dale Mallory stated, and this is the article, and I encourage you, if you have not read it, to please go and read it. He stated in this article that he's been very busy doing work in the communities. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been knocking on doors since early December. I have yet to see Dale Mallory in the communities. I have yet to run across Dale Mallory at an event, talking to people, shaking hands, talking about the issues. I have ran into Dale Mallory one time this entire campaign season. That is unacceptable when you are asking the people to give you their most precious asset, which is their vote. One thing you will always hear me say is, your vote is the most precious gift you can give away. People need to earn their votes. We cannot continue to vote someone in quite simply because they are a Mallory or a Thomas or any other well-known political figure. Because at the end of the day, what we are doing is we are continuing to put the same rhetoric, the same lip service, the same do-nothing officials in office. And if you continue to do the same things, you will get the same results. In the last 8 years, Mallory has done nothing for the city of Cincinnati. Nothing. Why is he still considered the front runner in this race? Because he's a Mallory. So my question to you is that enough? Is that enough for you to go to the polls on May the 6th and cast a vote for him? Is that enough? Simply being a Mallory, does that help the unemployment rate? Does that reduce the crime rate? Does that get young people off the streets and working? Does that help Ohio families get out of poverty? Because he's a Mallory? His name means nothing when he can't even show up. Part of the job is showing up, and he's failed to show up for the last 8 years. This article says that he by far has the worst attendance record of any Ohio legislative member. Is that acceptable? I think not. If you're in the communities working, that means the people are telling you what they need done, what they want done. How do you go to Columbus and fight for those issues if you're not even showing up? Let's not even talk about the fact that he gets an additional $5,000 salary for being a committee member for a committee that he never attends the meetings to. And all he can say is, well, sometimes I have other meetings. It's all right here in the article. This is an Ohio House of Representative member making statements as if he is some fifth grader. I didn't know it was as bad as it sounds. How dare you insult the people of this city, of this district? You deserve better. Dale Mallory is not the answer. I have a great amount of respect for his father and all of the things that his father brought to this city and this state, quite frankly. But we cannot continue to lend votes on a legacy that was built by their father and not continue by the sons. They've done nothing. Mark Mallory was the worst mayor the city of Cincinnati has seen, and I can't tell you how long. So now, his brother wants us to give him another 4 years to do nothing. Another 4 years to collect a paycheck that you don't even feel like you have to get up and go work for. Who knows where he is when he's not in Columbus? I don't know. The Inquirer doesn't know. He's certainly not telling us. Because what he's doing is he's blowing smoke and saying he's working in the communities. Where at in the communities, Dale? Tell me where you are. I'd love to come out with you. Show me what people you are talking to. Show me what difference you are making in the lives of the people who gave you their votes 4 years ago. Show me what you're doing. Because bed bugs ain't it. Thank you so much, Dale Mallory, for working to bring Cincinnati's first fight night to the Horseshoe Casino. We appreciate that, but guess what? Young men and women are still being killed in our streets. People are still without jobs. People are still fighting for the right to marry whomever they choose. Women are still fighting for equal pay, for the right to make choices concerning their own health. These are still real, true fights that are taking place. Real problems deserve real solutions, and Dale Mallory is not the answer. In order to even begin to fix the problem, you've got to show up to address the problem. He has failed to show up. Nearly 20% of the time that the session